5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hello and welcome everyone to Truth, Beer, and Podsequences. Yay indeed, Julia. This is the podcast where Julia and I listen to, watch, and recap all of the Cincinnati-based craft beer media from the previous week. We get together at a podcast host, and today we are back at Higher Gravity Summit Park. Thank you, Higher Gravity, for being a gracious podcast host. Now, hopefully there aren't too many consequences from the hosts of the other podcasts and media. So far, so good.
I mean, there really haven't been a ton of media out there, so the list of people that could get mad at us and have consequences for us is pretty slim.
Yeah.
So
slim.
Yeah.
So everything's going okay on that. My name is Marco. I'm a taproom manager here locally. I brewed beer locally for several years, and that other voice you heard, I did say her name. It's Julia, but she is the best co-host in Podcastlandia.
As Marco has said a few times already, I am Julia. I love to drink and consume all of the craft beer in the Cincinnati area. And the only thing I am going to say today to kind of finish off my intro is CrowdStrike can go take a walk in the park.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
So,
and I say that on behalf of all of the IT professionals in the world.
That's really been only the big piece of news in the past week.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, there really hasn't been anything at
much,
all
not too much
going
else.
on. No.
Nothing much else at all.
Nothing.
Well, good thing we have a few craft beer media pieces to talk about. But before we do that, all the thoughts and opinions on this podcast are ours and ours alone. They do not reflect any entity which we may be affiliated with, such as full-time jobs, part-time jobs, or Higher Gravity. If you want to get at us about something, we welcome you to, and then we'll tell you if we agree, don't agree, or, fuck all the way off. Either way, you can find information in the show notes, and you may be able to find more than information. You may be able to find little Easter eggs, little nuggets.
Yeah, this is true. I do put a decent amount of effort into the show notes, such as making sure that I list out everything that we talk about, everything that we drink, and occasionally I throw in a little, hey, message us if you notice this as well, or something like that. I mean, Joe K., he got a $10 Higher Gravity gift card. Joe, because I know that you listen, let me know if you would rather have me leave it at the North Side location or at the Summit Park location. That way, whatever makes it easiest for you, or hell, if you want to DM me your address, I can mail it to you. Again, whatever will make it as non-complex as possible.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So no craft beer podcast would be a good craft beer podcast if we weren't having some sort of beverage. Mm-hmm. And we did have a beer a little while ago, and I've still got a touch of the beer left. But Julia, what did you drinking?
I had a fantastic cocktail made for me. I am drinking a painkiller.
Hell yeah.
It is wonderful. It is dark rum, coconut puree, orange juice, and lime, and it is fan-freaking-tastic.
Awesome.
And after the week that I've had, or the 5 whatever-ish days that I've had, I needed a painkiller.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
How about you, Marco? What you got?
I have grapefruit gulpin from, I don't know where the fuck that is, but...
Gulplandia?
Gulplandia from some brewery.
It's a fine beer.
It's fine. It's okay.
It's a grapefruit IPA. It's good, but to me, my personal opinion, there's nothing overly spectacular about it, but it's solid. Like it's something that you don't mind getting and you don't mind drinking.
I don't mind having it. I don't mind drinking it. It's fine.
Yeah. What else you got?
This is a half a margarita, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess there was a mix-up at the bar for an additional cowboy, let's call it.
Yeah.
I was given the mix-up.
There you go.
So
there you go.
So Higher Gravity follows the rules. So that's the deal.
We'll touch more on that a little bit later.
Yeah, maybe so.
We had a new snack prior to starting to record.
Yeah.
And this snack was good enough that I may actually be somewhat proactive and try to reach out to them to see if they might want to sponsor the podcast.
That'd be awesome.
Marco and I ate a bag of dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a new potato chip that they have.
Did we finish the dicks?
No, I'm saving some for Gnome if he shows up.
Okay.
Because I'm sure that even though we know he
almost
loves...
a whole bag of dicks.
Almost a whole bag of dicks. We know that Gnome loves shoving tubular meats into his face, so I thought I'm sure he would love shoving some dicks into his face as well.
That's true.
Fantastic chips. The branding is absolutely phenomenal. I love it. So, yeah, I'm excited to see more dicks at higher gravity.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dick's Potato Chips, you may be getting a weird random email from a podcast saying, any chance you want to you want to contribute to the nonsense that we do day in and day out, or week in and week out, I guess would be a little more appropriate.
Yeah.
We'll let you know how that goes.
I don't know if we were trying to be appropriate, but...
No, we never are.
No.
We don't try to be inappropriate, but I mean, come on, when like you have dicks in your face,
Yeah.
what else are you supposed to do?
Just put them in your mouth.
Exactly. Moving on. So we have 3 pieces of Cincinnati Craft Beer media to talk about this week.
Yep.
We have the newest episode of Brew Skies Booze News Barstool Perspective, although I don't think that they called themselves anything in this episode. Like, welcome to another episode of this, or if they did, I didn't write it down. I didn't notate it.
It's more like Mike saying, "Hey, bitches,"
pretty much.
Which is a word I don't use in my vernacular, but it's in Mike's,
other people's.
So.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just a recap. It doesn't necessarily reflect the thoughts and opinions of us, as you very clearly stated in the beginning of this. We just repeat information. That is all we're doing. We also have an episode of, I'm going to go ahead and do it, Dancing with the Gnome.
Dancing with the Gnome.
Or some people call it Drinking with the Gnome.
Yeah. Where
he talked to one of the fine folks from the 1860 Taproom down in Harrison, Ohio. And then we have an episode, or the most recent episode, I guess I should say, of the Weekly Pint, where Gnome got spicy.
Yeah, TWP.
Yeah, you know me.
That's right.
Or Gnome, or,
Yeah.
It was, I think
He was there for all the smoke.
Yeah, well, and sometimes where there's smoke, there's fire.
Could be.
I do believe that we might see him later tonight, so we'll do that one. We'll make sure we do that one last.
Yeah, let's do that one last.
And
it was just last night, so everything else preceded it.
All right. Well, would you like to do Brew Skies first and then end with All Things Gnome, or do we want to kind of mix it up and do Drinking with the Gnome and then Brew Skies, a.k.a. Barstool Perspective, a.k.a. the Brett and Mike Show?
I don't know. I kind of like it when Gnome's here to comment about his stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I agree with that.
I mean, why don't we start with Barstool Perspective, which, by the way, is the oldest of the 3.
This is very true.
And then that gives Gnome time, and if he shows up to talk about both of his episodes, great. If he shows up...
and if he doesn't, his fault.
Yeah, his fault.
He knows where we are. He knows where we are and when we are here.
And if he doesn't make it, it's fine too. But yeah, we'll give him that chance, that opportunity.
Okay, that's fair.
Let's go. I will also say shout out to Adam Makes Beer. You had your industry.
That's true.
Industry Pro interview. Everyone go and watch Adam Makes Beer for the Industry Pro interview. Thank you, Adam, for always putting out fantastic content.
Or wait another couple, I believe it's still a few days away. It'll hit podcatchers as a audio-only format.
Sometimes I watch, and then I would recommend listening.
Yeah, sometimes I do both as well, just to make sure that I get all the information.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Brew Skies Booze News. Trump versus the beverage industry is the title of this one.
Yeah.
It was, once again, one of the longest and most detailed and in-depth intros from Mike. I thought that last week's was very long-winded.
Also interesting that they hit the beginning of what would be the middle and not the end of interesting news cycles, which we don't have to talk about.
No.
But the last, say, 10 days have been kind of interesting.
Yes.
From that standpoint.
To say the least. And we don't... this is a weird statement. We don't try to be political on the podcast, but if we have an opinion that is very strong to us, I mean, again, I don't
It's
have
our show. We
I don't
can
have a
fucking say
problem
it.
with saying it, and if you disagree, we can either have civil discussions about it, or if you just
That's what's cool
Or
is
if it's
that we can be
complete
adults about it.
whoa, being adults about things that
All right,
is
well, you're right.
crazy.
No, we're not going to do that.
No, but in all seriousness, some of the things they touched on near the end of this episode, which is kind of what the title of this episode is about. Don't look at it from a one person's name perspective.
Look, I mean, you guys know there's a lot been going on over the past 9-10 days in the beer space we're going to talk about, but in the political space, there's been some major stuff that's happened.
Sure.
And we're going to try and ignore as much as we can all of that, but speak to what was talked about in the actual episodes that we're covering. So, you know what's going on. So, just anyways, all right, people.
All right, let's get into the show.
Let's get into it.
Already covered that Mike had a incredibly long, incredibly detailed intro. He kind of almost did the whole show himself in that intro. And Brett's like, I still have things that I was going to talk to you about. They still managed to get a 32-minute show in.
Yeah.
Fantastic. They started with, is a China beer boom coming, or will that be import? So, okay, I'm phrasing this wrong already. Is there a Chinese beer boom incoming? And
Yeah.
does that mean that we're going to see an influx, a heavy influx of Chinese beer brands being imported to the U.S., or does that mean there's
No.
going to be a big influx of U.S. beer brands being exported to China?
I doubt either.
Both of those? Okay,
I
okay.
doubt both of those.
Okay.
And they discussed.
Why that?
They discussed maybe this is a lifeline for Bud Light because it's a rice beer.
True.
And can they find an in with Chinese drinkers? Maybe slightly.
Sure.
But what's going to happen is the biggest behemoth of all of them, which is the Chinese rice beer, the giant one.
Yeah.
What's it called? Swift or smooth or soft or Snow. That's what it was.
That was a multiple choice question.
Yeah, from last week. That one's just going to get bigger.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And
for sure.
then they talked about a beer itself as a category growing about, was it 2 to 4%?
I think they said 4 is the
Yeah.
main number, but yeah.
That's just the China market.
Right.
The Chinese
It's insane.
market, excuse me.
Insane.
That it's not necessarily representative of the full German, Italian. It's not the American beer market necessarily forecasting to be up. It's that China.
I was going to do it, but I wasn't going to do it.
That market is growing. So as do they, does the whole swath of everything.
Makes sense, yeah.
Because of how much volume that they represent.
Very true, very true.
I don't think that's doom and gloom necessarily for America. I think the continued leaning into light beer and craft beer brewers making light beer, as long as they can do it and affordably sustain it. And I think that's the bigger issue, is that can craft brewers who are trying to do large format light beer, can they continue to do it from a financial standpoint?
That's a good point, yeah.
And I don't know if everyone's going to be able to keep doing it.
I would be surprised if, and when I say everyone, I mean like some of the biggest brands out there. I would be surprised if they would be able to keep up. Maybe not to the point of it being catastrophic for them, but I do think that some of them are not going to be able to fill that demand. week after week or month after month, whatever that timeline is? And is it going to be a similar thing to what we see in like kind of the smaller local markets? You miss a delivery to an account of yours, boom, that's it. One shot. If you don't, one strike and you are out.
I think it's more of a turning dollars situation.
Okay.
And what happens is in my thought, and I don't know anything about anything, but I think in my thought, what it is if the market itself changes enough to where, okay, let's say hypothetically we spent $10,000. And we
nice, easy round number there, yeah.
We spent $10,000 and we turned it around, and the distributor sent us a $12,000 check. And we took that $12,000 and we invested it right back into the same product, and we spent $10,250 because the cost of supplies and goods and transportation and everything went up. And then we do that enough times to where all of a sudden that $12,000 that the distributor was sending us is eaten away totally by all of the costs, raw cost of goods, the transportation, the price of cans, the price of the labor and everything. And so now we're sending off what costs us $12,000 for $12,000. And then the next shipment, the distributor is like, well, here's the problem. We lost some placements. And so now we are only going to order about $9,000 from you.
But they're still expecting you to be investing that $12,000 from your end to make that same volume to match. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's an excellent.
And that I may be totally off base.
But that's a good hypothetical situation. That is a very realistic potential situation for this.
Yeah. I mean, I could be totally off base, but
I mean, I guess
get at us or not.
Right, and I mean, time will tell.
Yeah.
We'll see what Brett and Mike say next week, and in the upcoming weeks about what's going on here. Moving on or moving back to July 4th weekend. Back. The numbers are in as far as beer sales for July 4th weekend.
Well, let's play this fun game. You have the list, right?
I do. The top three. I just said the top three.
Okay, we're gonna play this list. Top three. What beer brands sold over the July 4th?
Alcohol brands sold. Yes.
Over the July 4th weekend.
Yes.
Now, Julie and I saw the same thing.
Yes.
So I'm not going to give you the answers. I'm going to give you wrong answers.
Ooh, excellent.
Are you ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Everybody, let's go. Top three beer brands. Or top three alcohol brands.
All right.
All right, everybody. Bud Light.
All right. One of my top three top beer brand, I keep saying beer brands too, but top alcohol sales for the July 4th weekend. I'm going with Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Excellent.
Yes.
How about Coors Light?
Oh, all right. The next one in my list, I'm going to say Heineken.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. All
what
right.
about you? Your third? Third of your top
I'm going to go Corona.
All right. Excellent choice. I am going to pick for my third. I am going to go with Rhinegeist Truth.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what are the three that you have written down?
Modelo.
Okay. All of us are wrong.
Twisted Tea.
And
Pacifico.
What
the fuck?
It went Modelo. No, it went Twisted Tea.
Modelo, Pacifico.
And so all of you are wrong.
Everyone's wrong.
Twisted Tea was the winner. Holy shit.
I mean, on one hand, part of me says because they are a
NASCAR
somewhat local brand, just because of the whole Boston beer, Sam, that
it's
whole
national
tie-in.
though.
Right, but I still kind of take a little bit of local pride in it.
You do?
A smidgen.
Okay,
it's not like a ton. It's if it went away completely.
A scotch.
Again, I'm not going to be upset about it, but because a brand that is, or a company, I guess would be the better word, that is fairly prevalent in Cincinnati and that does have deep Cincinnati tie-ins. To me, there is a little bit of a, all right, okay. It wouldn't, don't typically buy it, but it's one of those. All right, cool. Let's go for the local-ish.
There's a lot of people locally that make their living making twisted tea, and I'm happy that they make their living making twisted tea.
Yes, and it's more that I get that little bit of that local pride. Like, hey, there are some people that they could be sitting here at Higher Gravity, we don't even know it.
Yep.
That are part of that really ridiculous and astounding number. So that's all I'm saying on that one. They moved on to one of our all-time favorite brands, and I say that with a lot of spite and hatred in my heart. Brewdog.
Yeah.
Yes. They are no longer punk as fuck. They are just kind of meh as fuck. Yeah. They're not even as fuck. They're meh as frick. I don't know. I don't even know what
frick.
Yeah, like what it.
I like that. Can we get that on a shirt? Can someone print that for us?
Yeah. Hashtag meh as frick.
Meh as frick.
They decided that sustainability and helping the environment doesn't mean jack shit to them anymore. I don't know if it ever, really did.
I don't think it ever did.
No, probably not.
I'm not saying that. It's not like I'm on the inside.
No. And I'm sure that they did some things for some of their Brewdog hotel spaces and, stuff like that were a bit sustainable. But I don't know. When we were up in Columbus, I don't recall seeing like recycle containers scattered around the taproom area and
there wasn't one in the hotel room.
No, there was not. So
and there were plenty of bottles and cans left in the hotel.
I was just going to say. So where were you supposed to recycle? Like the tiniest thing to do for sustainability is encourage recycling. Didn't see a single opportunity up there. So
this doesn't change any of my perspective on Brewdog.
No, no. Just like CrowdStrike, they can go touch grass. They can take a walk in the park.
Yeah.
But that's been my stance on them for a while, so that's nothing new there. But yeah, they decided that.
However, we
love eating bags of Dicks.
Dicks potato chips, they are fantastic.
They really are. We need to get a bag of the barbecue next.
Okay.
We need to make sure that we experience
all the
absolutely
Dicks.
Everything that Dicks has to offer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There is nothing that I hate more than being disappointed by Dicks. So we need to. So we need to.
Nothing that you hate more.
That may be a slight exaggeration, but think about your experience with Dicks. How upset would you be, or not? I guess upset is maybe a slightly harsh word for potato chips.
Yeah.
But when you are expecting a certain flavor, a certain experience from your Dicks.
Oh, certainly.
And you don't get that.
Yeah.
You do feel a little let down.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But so we'll try some of those after our first break or during our first break because eating potato chips while you're doing a podcast, no bueno.
No.
It is unacceptable.
Well.
No, absolutely
doesn't go well.
Let's go ahead and continue on with see what did they move on next after Fuck Off Dog. You can hear Mike sing some of his absolute favorite Taylor Swift songs.
Yes.
If you didn't know that he was a Swiftie, you do now.
He sold the car to make sure that he could get some tickets.
That's what you have to do. You have to get a second mortgage on your house.
Right. Sell plasma.
More than that, you have to sell a kidney to see Taylor Swift in concert.
Right.
Those tickets are insane. Mike's tangent on Taylor Swift, probably one of my favorite Mike tangents of all time. It was really
hilarious.
Good. Watch this episode, if nothing else, just for that, because good God, it was great. Even Brett was like, I don't know what to do with this. I do not know do we even know what that is? Other than delicious?
No.
Okay.
Cosmo, maybe?
Oh, yeah, maybe that is. And the reason that there are so many cocktails floating around here today is Higher Gravity Summit Park is hosting what looks to be an amazing group of women or women lawyers that are networking and having a little cocktail happy hour.
Yeah. And
I think that is fantastic. So if you have a small work gathering or a networking opportunity you want to do with your company or to even meet other people around, Higher Gravity is a great place for it.
Great place.
Absolutely great place for it.
Great place.
And they did not pay us to say that, but they
haven't come over and offered any legal services.
This is true. Let's see, where were we? Oh, we were talking about Mike and Taylor Swift, which I never thought that I would say those two things in the same sentence, but here we are.
He did, and they did, maybe some things.
They talked about what countries drink the most, at least as far as wine is concerned. Mike was a little surprised about some of those.
France.
No.
France is up there.
Was it up there? I
Yeah.
thought that was
France was number
that was
one.
lower on the list.
No, France is number one.
Okay. I didn't write down the list just because, again, we want you guys to listen to stuff.
I'll give you
Is
number,
Marco right or am I right?
I'll give you number one.
Yes.
I'm not going to tell you the rest.
Okay. Oh, that's true. You already said your number one. I'm just sitting here like waiting for words, and words aren't coming.
France.
I don't know what I'm doing. I've told you that a million times.
It's okay.
It's fine. It's fine. You guys are still having fun listening, right?
It's okay.
I hope so. I hope so.
We're still on podcast one.
They also talk about the countries that drink the least amount of wine, which we don't need the number ones, we don't need the number 10s, but again, those two lists were part of their wine news segment.
Before you answer, as guests listening,
Yes. They are screaming at their radios and phones and stuff right now.
maybe think about where you don't want some
Wine from.
some wine either from, or you think that they just have too much going on or too little in the form of bougie commerce to want wine.
Yes. Excellent point. Excellent point. They talked about Firefly sake.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I really
know
had
that
to
was a thing.
didn't either. Neither did they.
Oh.
No one knew that fireflies cared so much about water. Very interesting. Makes sense if you think about it. Got to swirl those rocks. I want to ask you, Marco, do you call them fireflies or lightning bugs? Because that was a bit of a topic tangent that they went down.
I have called them both.
Okay. Is there one that you tend to say first? Or does it doesn't matter, just one day you might say lightning bug, the next day you might say firefly?
I think this harkens back to the conversation where we had with the soda and the pop.
True. Yeah, absolutely. It absolutely is, yeah.
I think, so when I was growing up, I believe I called them lightning bugs. And then now I think I call them fireflies.
All right. Do you jar them or do you kill them and smear their glowing guts on your arm?
So I wasn't a kill and smear guy.
Okay, me either.
I have in the past jarred.
Okay, yes. I accidentally killed and smeared, like when you try to catch them and your hands aren't as like cupped as you hope they are. So it was not an intentional thing. But I was always a jar them, not a kill them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Glad we're on the same page with that. There was more Kroger merger. I don't want to call it a rant. I'll just say they discussed it a bit more and just why self-checkouts are bullshit and why if you have the opportunity to shop somewhere other at Kroger, you should try to do so. Because again, this is starting to flow into the political side of this episode.
They go full bore into it as they get to the end.
Right.
So.
And Brett fully admits, like, Kroger has been good to Urban Artifact as far as putting their beer on the Kroger shelves. However, their product. Yeah, that's a better, But he also fully said that, he doesn't go there on the personal level.
Shop where you want to shop.
Mm-hmm. Or where you're even able to. Some people don't have options.
Where you're able to. Absolutely.
Right.
And, just make the best decision for yourself.
Sure.
For your family, for your wallets, whatever that may be as far as how you shop. I mean, I'm not... just because Kroger slashed a lot of craft beer placements, I'm not going to tell you to not shop there if that's the best move for your family.
Sure, yeah. And then I don't want to go too much into the part of the conversation where they talked about what potentially could happen to the drink and manufacturing and food industries should the Republican Party take over after the November elections. But I do just want to say that I do appreciate that the things that they brought up as what could be expected or what we could see as far as prices increasing or availability becoming more or less for certain things, that was all based off of facts from previous political cycles. It wasn't just, well, this is just my opinion, and I think that this is what's going to happen, or this could happen. It was purely going off of what did happen, what was documented to have happened in those previous years. Does that mean it's going to happen for sure this next cycle, if the next cycle happens? Not necessarily, but history tends to repeat itself, and
Right.
it is just something to be very aware of. And like we said at the beginning of the recap, where we kind of went off on a slight political tangent, do your research, be an educated voter, and make sure that you're getting your education and your facts and your news from multiple sources to ensure that you do have as much information as possible.
If I only had one call to action, it's, do what you do. Go vote. Don't vote for whatever reason you have. Vote for who you want and who you would like to see in office. Mm-hmm. Once that happens, they are the president.
Yes.
And please respect the fact that America has spoken, and that's the office of the presidency.
Sure.
Whether you do or don't respect, whether you do or don't like their political standpoint, you should respect it. Be civil. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
I really hope that we don't have to go into too much more of this over the next 4 months.
God, yeah.
But the last 9-10 days have been kind of crazy. And
100%.
It's really tough to avoid it when our shows are talking about it.
Right. Oh, exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
Hopefully, the next two, I
don't think there's anything. I think we're good.
That.
I think we're good.
So
to kind of wrap up this this recap of the live episode of Barstool Perspectives, aka Brew Skies Booze News, I have a sip count and I have a multiple choice question.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Sip count first or multiple choice first?
No, it's sip count.
Sip count for just making sure. Mike took a total of 20 sips.
Hell yeah,
this
Mike.
episode.
Let's go, Mike.
Brett took a total of 36.
Oh,
he was
yes.
sipping it up. That is a grand total of 56 countables. 56 sips.
112 ounces?
112 ounces, which is in a 32-minute episode.
Oh, my God.
7 pints.
Hell
7.
yeah.
7. Holy shit.
I ain't doing that.
Don't do that. No.
I ain't doing
no,
that.
Don't do that. Do not do that. Multiple choice, because we're already at like 47 minutes
on one podcast.
On one podcast.
All right,
Pre-edit. This was based off of a visual from the episode. What does Mike do? Does he A, pontificate?
Pontificate.
Yeah, okay. Pronuncificate. It's all the same. Does he visit bars, or does he drink and know things?
Julia's a D.
I mean, okay, so wait a second. There is so much D being brought tonight.
Yeah.
This is a lot. What you got?
Or does he rosé all day?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Big wine drinker, that guy. All right. This is, as all their episodes are, an absolute must-watch. Just be aware that, like I said, the end of the episode, I don't even necessarily want to call it political, because it is based off of facts from the past. However, it is a political opinion in nature. So again, if that kind of thing triggers you and just makes you unnecessarily angry, maybe skip the last 10-12 minutes of it. But it is good information. And
after
again,
Brewdog, maybe just
yeah. Not that I ever want to encourage.
Button.
Not that I ever want to encourage not listening to a show in its completion. However, yeah. With that being said, Marco, you need another beverage.
I do.
And we have some more dicks to put in our mouths, so let's... Someone is making a hell of a lot of noise over here. Unnecessarily, I might add. So it sounds like a... sounds like a perfect time for us to take a break. We'll be...
Did you learn that at grade school? You fucking playing those?
We'll be right back. We are back. And I think... God damn it. I was just about to say, I think we dealt with the source of all that excess noise.
Yeah.
Apparently not.
Can't deal with
I
it.
got some.
Yeah, and Marcus chewing on some dicks. Which, okay, so...
Your dicks are loud.
Yeah.
Sometimes they make a statement. So when we started the
Ooh, look at this. I got a big,
that. You got
look at this
you
big
got a
dick.
big dick. Nice. When we started the show, we were that actually sounded incredible. That was incredible. We had the salty dicks.
It tasted
Now,
good too.
now we are having the sweet and smoky barbecue dicks.
Yeah, saucy dick.
Oh my God, these are fantastic. These are really
Freaking good.
All right.
I almost said a dirty word.
I
I was gonna curse.
I almost did a count for that last night.
There was a
for
lot.
one of your shows, but I was so freaking exhausted.
lot,
I'm
yeah.
like, I can't.
I cursed.
I was done. I was over it. Speaking of, Gnome, welcome back.
Oh, thank you.
It's,
Back. Shit.
It's hard when
Shoot.
like I'm directing it at you.
Is shit a bad word? Can we say shit?
You can, yeah.
What are the rules?
You can say whatever you want
I
on
don't
our
know.
show.
I don't know. What are the rules?
Yeah.
What are the-
There are no rules.
Okay.
I do love that you showed up just in time for us to talk about your shows. And to provide the most amazing ASMR
Oh, they're so good.
for this.
This is the best dick I've had in
These
a
are-
long time.
Yeah.
When was
Dicks.
last
Oh, hey.
Dicks.
When
I guess
was
I'll
the
say
last
dicks.
time you had some dicks that were this good?
I mean, I've had these dicks frequently.
Okay.
I like them. Yeah.
All right.
My favorite dicks.
They're good. Yeah. Do you want to talk about drinking with a gnome?
No.
Yeah.
No. Oh. Do we have a choice?
No. No, absolutely not. Episode 26, drinking at the 1860 Taproom in Harrison.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was there. I was
You
there.
were there. You were there. I was there, although
Yeah,
I was
kind of.
late. Kind of.
You were kind of there.
I was right next door for like
Yeah.
90% of
I
the
yelled.
show.
I yelled at the wall a lot.
I heard it.
Yeah.
But they still weren't bringing me my check.
fine.
There was
It's fine.
nothing I could do. I tried.
I'm sad.
I tried.
Did you get,
I was there
What'd
mostly
you
in
eat?
spirit. I had the.
Already asked this, but-
You did. The. What's the one with like the 3 different smoked meats on it?
I don't know. You didn't get
The-
the turkey sandwich.
The
though.
triple dicks.
No. I should have gotten the smoked turkey sandwich because
Dicks
that
all
would-
around.
That would have shown up in no time. But I got the. God damn it! What's it called? It's the sandwich with like the pulled pork and
I'm going to call it the 3 wise men.
sure, we'll go with that.
That's what I call it.
3 wise pigs because it's pretty much all pork ish. Yeah.
Ish.
It was very good, but I do think that there was, and maybe it was just a temporary thing. Maybe something wasn't charged.
Oh, no.
There was no point of sale tablet
well,
or
okay.
system upstairs, so the poor server was going like up and down the stairs for absolutely everything. Run upstairs, see, we're ready
think
for the
they like
check.
it. I think they
run
like it.
downstairs, get the check, run back upstairs, put on the table. Run.
It's like those people
Like,
that flog
holy-
themselves. You
Oh,
know, like they have
yeah.
those things.
Oh, yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the servers like it. They're like, oh no, we don't need a point of sale up there. That's fine.
We wanna get our
We
cardio
love
in.
running up and down the stairs.
I mean, it is a
Especially
good
when
way
it's
to get
busy.
your step count up, but my God, it just, yeah. But we showed up.
So it's
Yeah.
important.
We
Step
tried.
count.
Yeah, exactly. Not being there for Gnome's entire show, but making sure that our server got their step count in.
But
That's important.
did you listen to the whole show?
Absolutely, I
Okay.
did. Yes.
Better when you listen afterwards.
Especially because since while we were in the 1860 tap room, we were sitting to the side of the speaker, couldn't hear shit.
Yeah, those.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean, acoustics, it's weird. But yes, I absolutely went back and listened to the whole thing. Let's see, where do we want to start? Robe? Good God. Rob Watson was, he's one of the
Those are good
co-owners.
dicks.
Yeah, they are.
They're
They're
really,
so good.
Yeah, they
really
are.
good. I'm
Should sponsor the show.
going to work
We're going to work on
I'm
it.
going to work on that, yeah.
We're going to work on dicks.
Hashtag sponsor my dick.
Rob Watson, he's one of the co-owners of the 1860 Tap
He is,
Room.
yeah.
That's who you were talking to in this episode. Apparently, I wasn't aware of this until this episode. COVID was bad for the hospitality
That's
industry.
what I hear. Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah,
Man, that's
apparently it didn't work out.
Evidently, there was a pandemic.
Who knew?
Did I pronounce that right?
I think so.
Pandemic.
Pandemic. There was a thing that happened. I don't know.
It was weird,
Yeah.
but
It was weird.
It still is weird. Went over the history of the district, which is what the downtown Harrison. Is it just the Dora area that's called the district, or the entire downtown?
That's a great question.
Spectrum, because I couldn't really pick that up
We should
from
call
the
him.
show. If you want to do that,
His
go for
phone
it.
number is
513
859. Is that
867-5309, I think.
No, what's the what's the Harrison
812 or not 812.
812. Yeah.
812
812-867-5309.
There we go.
Yep.
So call up Rob and ask him
Call him.
about the district. What is the district? He went over the reason on how he and is it just one other business partner, two other business
He didn't
partners?
specify.
Okay,
There's a
because
couple.
again, co-owner, but never really got into other names, other numbers of who else is involved.
It's him and some
You're
buddies.
going to do it again, aren't you? Don't do it. Oh, you did it.
It was him and some buddies
Him and some buddies decided
homebrewing and
to open up
sounds
a
so
tap room
good.
in Harrison. They had the idea in 2018, and they opened up in 2019.
What a novel idea in 2018.
There was nothing else like it happening at all. Oh my God, you guys!
How are your dicks?
These are great.
Multiple.
These are so good.
The shutdown varied between Ohio and Indiana,
Yeah.
which was really cool because literally, as you are looking at 1860 Taproom, you take like 2 steps into the road, and all of a sudden you're in
Yeah, if you
Indiana.
fall-
if you fall, you're
you're
falling
in
into another
Indiana.
state.
Yeah, you
and
could break
directly
some walls.
across the street in Indiana is a bottle shop.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Well,
catty corner
liquor
is-
store.
A liquor store.
Liquors are in bottles.
It's a liquor store.
They're in bottles.
Yeah,
So you
it's a
could
liquor store.
make the argument.
It's a liquor store.
And then a bar just like catty corner
Uh-huh.
again, just across the street, but all of a sudden it's Indiana. And I found it so fascinating how he was saying, so yeah, we're over here sitting in our completely empty tap room because we can't do anything. And literally 10 feet away from us
Across the
in
street,
Indiana, they're having parties and they're just having a great old time. 500 people in a 2x2 square foot section.
I'd never thought about that before.
No,
Like
no,
that,
because we
that
were so
line.
involved in our bubble. But yeah, when you are that close, I mean, you just, like you said, you fall and you are in a different state with
Yeah.
completely different regulations, completely different, rules. And it was interesting to hear him talk about how that both, in a way, helped and hurt
Yeah.
1860. People still want to support the local spots, but when the local spots aren't or weren't as available as somewhere right across the street, well, you're going to go
all
right
local.
across the street.
It's all
right,
local.
Right, it is.
Well, it's just like in sports. The analogy is that availability
Oh,
is your
in sports, yes, I know the analogy you're going for. It's, can I say fuck the Ravens? Because fuck the Ravens. I think that's the analogy, right?
Yes.
That's what
Yeah.
you're going for?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And before Marco actually finishes his statement, this espresso martini from Higher Gravity is fucking delicious.
And so
Anyway.
1860 Taproom would just go outside and just go, fuck the Ravens.
You fuck the Ravens.
Yeah, exactly.
Who they?
And the people from Indiana are just like, what?
Who?
Who?
Yeah.
Huh?
Colts? What?
If you can't gather, if you can't purchase by that state, and I don't mean state of Ohio, state of Indiana, but the way that you purchase.
Yeah.
If it's more friendly across the street, then you go across
Yeah,
the street.
literally
I think-
across the street.
I think the analogy you were trying to vocalize in a sports ball way is it's kind of like comparing
Balls.
and dicks. It's kind of like comparing Jamar Chase and Juju Smith-Schuster. One of them is always fucking open.
Yeah.
One of them is always open, and that's unfortunately the Indiana side. The other one kind of closed up at
Yeah,
all times and
and
never
that's
gets
Juju.
shit. And that's yes.
Yeah. Juju.
Fuck the
closed
Steelers
off.
and the Ravens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Fuck them all.
I'm so ready for football season.
I am too.
All right, let's kind of move on
Oh,
and
the
let
foosball.
the foozes balls. Let's see, breaking interstate laws by taking beer across the street.
I think it's illegal.
I wonder how. Right, but how do do the police that drive up and down that road
No.
are they Indiana police officers?
I don't think
or
Sting
Ohio?
cares.
Like,
It's
is
both.
it both? And
Depends
how
on which side of the
how much
street.
do they care? Like, unless you are
They don't. There's no way they do. No,
how
they don't care.
They
don't care.
Unless you are completely inebriated and you are actually a problem.
That's fun.
Then they probably would be like, okay, look. But then how? Like what?
They could charge you with some kind of like interstate crime.
Right. Would that be like the federal? Right.
Yeah, they could mess with you.
Yeah.
Right. Like
don't be an asshole.
They're watching you stumble from one, and they see that you're going to go across the street, crossing that state line.
That's why.
Do they wait and go?
That's why
I'm going to get you.
Always keep a bag of dicks in the back of my car. Mm-hmm. And if I get pulled over, they're like, "Hey, man, you're from Ohio. You're not from around here, are you?" And when I'm in Indiana, and I'm like, "No, I'm not." But have you tried my dicks? Ooh. And I give them my dicks, and they're happy.
And they're happy. I mean,
you shove your dicks in their face, and they're okay.
Just put them in their mouth.
Yep. It's,
sounds right.
Just like my frame of reference. That's what I do. You don't have to do that.
How many times has that worked?
When I put my dicks in people's face, like all the time. Every time.
All right.
It's never not worked. Yeah.
100% dick ratio.
Yeah.
Northern Rose Hustler is rebranded as their house beer, which I think is a great choice.
It is a great choice.
Kind of on that, I saw, and I need to try to re-look it up, but I saw a local, semi-local, they're still somewhere in Cincinnati, taco Mexican place that is like, we now have our own
taco
Mexican place.
Yes, they have their own branded beer now, and the image that I saw kind of had like the branding cut off the top, but I saw just enough to make it go.
It's West Side.
It's West Side, yeah.
El Rancho Grande.
Rancho
Hell
Grande.
yeah.
Yes. So their Mexican lager. Is
which
West
means
Side.
the
so
big
a lot
dick.
of these, it is the big dick. I like that a lot of these places are working with fantastic local breweries to.
It's stupid that there's not more of them.
Right.
I totally agree.
Every place should have
right.
a
I mean,
beer.
it's already known good quality beer, and if they're willing to have like a couple kegs that they set up for you to rebrand as your own,
it's not hard.
why not? Just white label it and just be like, you know what? Here, let's make sure that.
What's so weird is what's old is new again, because back when there were back when there were fewer craft breweries. The craft breweries were getting out and actually doing that. As the amount of craft breweries increased, that happened less for I have no idea reason. I don't understand why.
It was too much work for people to try to go out. They didn't want to go out.
And then now we see this a partnership with breweries, which used to be around, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago. And now some of this is starting to come back. I mean, a fretboard and the connection with Sammy's has stayed strong, but there are a lot of other breweries out there that had some real small.
There were a lot.
Yeah.
Talked about how no one knows what the building was actually used for.
Yeah.
In the past, there are some ideas.
Probably
there are
for
some
sex.
things.
Sex. Lots of sex everywhere.
So what
you can see it on the walls.
So I'm sure that you covered this extensively in the show. You found out what the trap door in the floor is for.
Sex.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sex everywhere.
That door can just stay shut.
Gotta sanitize.
That door just stays shut.
Yeah.
No. They have 16 taps. They try to keep a good number of the beers that they have on tap local. But they do have, national brands, that type of thing in there. And they also have a pretty decent spirit selection. You guys didn't really talk about that super much. There was a lot of talk about the bourbon.
It's because we got drunk. We got drunk.
And we're having a good time.
Yeah.
It was perfectly fine. They talked about the development. I keep saying they, even though it was just the two of you. So I'm including you in
they
the
as
they.
a company.
Yes.
Company.
The development of Harrison and what else is coming and what they hope to come into the area.
Oh.
And
what's coming?
And how easy it is to shut down Main Street for all of the events that they want to put on in the Dora that they have going on down there. There are some beers that have surprised them when they put them on tap, which this part was cool because a lot of it comes from their Mug Club members.
I thought that was interesting with the fact that one of the perks of being a Mug Club member is that you may end up being able to pick a keg, and that's kind of cool. That's kind of a cool perk because
I would agree. Let's see. Some of the surprising beers that have really topped their popularity charts as far as what they've had on tap, Cincy Light was one of them.
Shouldn't be a surprise.
I don't know
Braxton
why
Scoot-
that's a
right,
surprise.
right. I guess because one of the first ones that they mentioned were stouts. Some of the stouts they put on.
I was
Rob
in a
was
bar
going-
yesterday, and I'm not going to name the bar because they probably won't
Really?
be named.
Well, you've been on
Really?
a roll. You don't want to name people?
No. Yesterday I was in a bar, and the people at the bar, like sitting at the bar, were like demanding Cincy Light. They're like, "You killed the keg. It's gone. We need more." And the bartender said, "Look, I recognize what you're saying. I know that you'll buy it, but then you won't drink anything else.
That's amazing.
I need you guys to drink all of this other stuff before I put another keg of Cincy Light on."
I appreciate the honesty, but wow.
They
At the same
wouldn't.
time, it's
They
like-
would not put another keg on because it'll ignore the other stuff. Like, that's how crazy it is.
Is the IPA popularity bubble bursting?
No.
Oh, I like how one of
Yes.
you nodded
Yes.
and one of you went no.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't
Okay,
think.
fight.
No, we don't need to fight.
Be civil. Have a civil
No.
discussion. Well, I put more
Pull
of
out
these
your
dicks in my
sword,
mouth.
sir.
Wow. This bag of dicks is empty.
No, I don't think the IPA popularity is waning. I think, however, what it is normalizing.
Ooh,
and
good way to put it. Yeah.
What I think is that for the spectrum of beer drinkers, we don't need. Basically, what used to happen is to draw in people who were excited about craft beer. You had to put on things that were hype and things that were, in the zeitgeist and things that drew attention. And those things,
Dicks everywhere.
I mean, it was just like it was your double hazy dick. It was your double dry hop dick. It was your
Juicy
hoppiest dick, your juiciest dick.
Imperial.
And it was your
Love a good
dick
juicy dick.
with maple and cinnamon and sugar
Marshmallow
dick,
fluff.
and marshmallow fluff dick.
Oh,
And
fluffy
then-
dick.
There was a time where you had to talk about that stuff, and you had to. You had to have it, and you almost had to
You
be
had to justify
exclusively,
it, yeah.
exclusively that, and you can't be that anymore, and you
Right.
shouldn't be that ever. And so now I think what it is there's a normalization of hops, and is it American IPA? Is it a pale ale? Is it a West Coast? Is it a hazy? Is it a double hazy? Is it a all of these things have places, but now what's happening is there's places and spaces for all of them instead of every tap board being consumed by all of it. And that's good. That's good because you can go into a place and you can get a blonde, you can get a Helles, you can get a lager, you can get a, you can get a double IPA, you can get a hazy double IPA, you can get, a Schwartz beer, and you can get, I don't know.
People still have to be like aware of what they're serving people.
Yeah.
I think they're still like. I think it's, and maybe this is a Cincinnati problem. Maybe it's because we're growing so fast still in the beer culture aspect. But like, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they went to a bar, and they were expecting an IPA, and there wasn't one. There was not an IPA on tap.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I was
there
gonna say.
there was not an IPA, and
And this was a bar, not a brewery.
yeah, it was bar.
Okay.
Not super local, but
Sure, but
local-ish.
just in general.
I don't know if I'd hate that.
And it's fine. And the people that I'm talking to are very basic as far as their beer needs. There was a lager on tap, and they both ordered the lager. It was a good Czech lager,
Hell yeah.
and the beer came in front of them, and it was really dark. And they got confused, and they got angry, and they got mad, and it didn't taste good, and they walked out, and I heard for 3 days about how this is the worst bar in the world. and so like there's still a disconnect happening that I'm sure the beer, and I don't actually know what the beer was, but it was clearly a dark Czech lager.
Yeah,
Right,
which
that's
is
what I was going to
delicious.
say. Like either a Schwartz beer, but at the same. Sorry, go ahead.
Communicate it to people.
Exactly,
Like
yeah.
there's still a problem happening. There's still so
Then
many
you
people
try-
that
yeah.
get like
It's a
get
visual, and
uncomfortable and they don't want to like create waves. They're just like I ordered my beer and I got it.
I didn't get
and
what I
it's
thought.
not what I thought it was, and maybe I'm wrong. And so they get like kind of hung up on themselves.
Right. All right. I have 2 other notes and then a multiple choice question.
Whoa.
Okay.
Because
Oh,
we've got to run
okay.
through this. It is already 8:30.
All right.
In the morning?
Yes.
Shit.
Yes. We have
Early
been here.
in
This
the
is
morning.
the sun coming up,
I
not
see
the
that.
sun setting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I texted Nick and said, "Is there any way you can shut the blinds? My eyeballs are hurting." And he looked at me and he laughed, and I'm like, "New locations and places don't necessarily excite people anymore." You
Yeah.
hear about, X brewery has a new taproom open. Well, yeah, but we've had that beer before. Am I going to drive 20, 30, 40 minutes
X
to
brewery.
try
Didn't we go there?
the new?
That was that place.
Yeah,
Species
we
X.
did.
Yeah.
Species X, we did.
Nick is now my favorite. Sorry, Jason, but the glare off of the.
Somebody give him a dick.
He's a whole box of dicks over there.
He deserves a big barbecue dick.
Thank you. Oh, good God. But yeah, new locations and places don't necessarily excite people anymore. And the last note that I have, because we are just, this is not getting any better.
Oh, it's getting great.
Look for bigger and better street shutdowns in
Hey, now.
2025.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, they are working on it.
Yeah.
Do either of you have any other notes on this episode before the multiple choice
Got
question?
notes.
You have
Got notes, but you probably
about
want
this
to get
episode.
our own.
Are they about this episode? Are they about
Kind
your,
of, but
your
it was like thoughts
conversation
I had.
with Rob?
Thoughts I had when I was listening. It's fine. It's
But
all
that's-
dick
but that's-
related.
but that's
No, it's all
what-
dick
oh,
related.
well, if
yeah.
it's okay. Marco.
No.
Oh, all right. Multiple choice question for episode 26 of Drinking with the Gnome. Drinking at the 1860 Taproom in Harrison. What is underappreciated about downtown areas?
Dicks.
It-
The way I like my dicks.
Is it A, Dora's?
Crispy.
Okay.
Is it B, covered sidewalks?
Okay.
Or is it C, parking lots?
Ah, okay. All right. Ours a D, Julia.
Oh,
Oh,
that
Jesus.
was a whole bag of them.
1860. That was my nickname in high school.
Oh, because you're old.
I'm not sure that makes sense. Yeah, was it
Does it have to?
because you were the old guy in high school? Here comes 1860.
Oh, goodness.
Here comes 1860.
Here
Bringing
comes
the D
old
again.
Here comes old 1860 again. Okay, let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
We got to count some
and
rings.
you know what?
idea.
No, we do not.
I got to count.
We're going to take a break. I'm
18.
going to try to somehow rein this all together for one more show
19.
recap. Gnome's going to keep counting.
20.
Apparently,
21.
got a lot of rings to count, and Marco's going to do
20.
Marco things.
2.
We'll be right back.
23.
Gnome, what's in your glass?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay. Marco, what's in your glass?
I have a new one. It's from Fatheads, Headhunter.
Excellent. Back to the heads. And I'm
gonna-
still
I'm
working
gonna-
on my painkiller because
I'm going to look. I'll tell you
I'm
in
a
a
slow
minute.
drinker and it's fantastic. Okay. All right. Last show that we have to talk about tonight. The Weekly Pint, episode 221. That beer's old, but drinking with you isn't.
Yeah, TWP.
Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, you know me.
And Gnome. This was a spicy episode.
So spicy.
Didn't really get to cover all the topics that Gnome that you wanted to cover.
We
But,
hit most of them.
My goodness. I will have to say that I apologize for derailing the Not Show by asking about the chat missing from the video. And you're
That
like,
was okay.
oh,
That's-
and now we have to do a thing. And I'm like, well, I'm glad
That's
this
fine.
isn't a show because...
That's your job. Like, we got to fix that stuff.
Okay, cool. Well, I will be like mini semi-producer. I can't fix anything like an actual producer
You
would.
fix it.
But I can just
If
tell
you
you, like,
fixed
hey,
it.
well, I
fine.
fixed the thing. Humble Monk and their GoFundMe.
I think I burnt a place down.
You kind of did.
Yeah, I lit 'em on fire.
Yeah,
Not
it
Humble
was
Monk.
fine. No, definitely not Humble Monk.
No, but
Humble Monk.
They're already
Humble Monk
gone.
had a I almost said Kickstarter, had a GoFundMe up.
GoFundMe.
And even when I look at the
Gave
link and I'm
away
going,
beer.
"Oh, I don't think you're supposed to be able to do this." So the
I respect
GoFundMe-
it. I respect
Sure,
what they were trying to
absolutely,
do.
100%.
You don't need to do it.
No.
That's the thing. Like, you don't have to do that. I respect like what they're trying to do and like how they feel they need to do things, but you don't need to do that.
Right. I agree. And so I
Give
hope,
people a sticker. That's
Yeah,
all you need
yeah.
to do.
That
Like, the
very-
people
that
want
very
to
first
support
line-
you. Sticker. Just
Yes.
give them a sticker.
Yes.
That's
because I feel like the people, and this goes for
Different
almost-
stickers.
I feel
Different
like,
stickers for different
this is-
levels.
Sure. Or I feel like for anyone that wants to support a local small business, they are going to support you whether they get something out of it or not. If the only reason you are giving them money is because, well, I want this, that money is still going to go to a lot of good. However, donate, and then when they're open at the new location, buy a glass while you're there.
Also,
And
like-
you know, I just
I
don't know.
I'm going to say this here. I've not reached out to Humble Monk to say this. I probably should. People want you to succeed.
100%.
They want to drink your beer, and it also doesn't matter if you make your beer. If in the meantime, before you get stuff up and running, if you have to contract, if you have to have somebody else make your beer,
Yeah.
do it.
Absolutely.
People
100%.
want to support you. It's not just about the thing in their glass. They want to support you.
Yes.
As long as what's in the glass tastes good, they don't. None of us care
Yeah,
who's making
yeah.
it. Be honest about it, obviously, and make what you need to make. People want you to succeed. Like,
Yes. I do believe that their website is listing the places around town that do have their beers on
Yeah.
tap, which I did want to ask you about one of those kind of off air because it was a place that I didn't know existed and sounds like somewhere that you would, Canteen.
oh yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I'm
Canteen.
like, but anyway, that's not part of this necessarily.
We should go. Let's go.
Let's
the
finish
shit
up this
off.
recap first, and then we'll go. So Humble Monk right now, they do not have their
Buzzkill.
GoFundMe up. They are trying to raise $35,000. I am hoping that they put up something else that doesn't violate any terms and conditions of
or
any
Ohio laws.
or laws, whatever. But when you see that, or if you see their beer on tap somewhere, buy
Drink
it,
it.
support
Drink
them,
it.
drink it, and we need Humble Monk in this city.
Yes.
Please support
We
them.
absolutely need them
Absolutely.
in this city. Let's see, what else do we have here? You opened a tiki rum Mai Tai,
I did. Ooh.
and there were some comments about that.
fine.
And it didn't look the way you
fine.
thought it should look, but tasted
It's not,
fine.
it's not a Mai Tai.
You got in trouble for this is like the biggest thing. Jesus.
Okay.
I even have like laughing
All right.
faces by some of this. You got in trouble for talking
how much
about
time
old
do we
beer.
have?
Not enough.
Okay.
Not nearly enough. My take on, because I remember the post when you made that.
Yeah.
My take on your post, which I think was a story, so it kind of like went away
Yeah,
after a
that
day
was-
or a couple hours
that
or
was the
whatever.
idea.
Sure, right, makes sense.
Make the people that need to see it see it.
Exactly. To me, it looked like a hey, FYI brewery. This is out there somewhere. Don't know if you're aware of this or
I did
not.
also send a
And then-
message
sure,
to the brewery
Sure.
for the record.
It felt to me more like you were not even like calling out, but just making aware all three places in those chains: brewery, distributor, retailer.
The only place I
something's not
did not
right
reach
about
out to
this.
is the distributor. I did not reach out to them because I think they're terrible, and I think they're a virus upon the Cincinnati beer scene. They're
Gotcha.
bad.
Okay.
Always been bad. I've never had a good experience with them.
Okay.
I'm not going to name them, but. I was gonna name them. I won't. They're bad.
want
No,
to- yeah, okay.
it's a bad distributor, in my opinion.
So I will ask
I'm
real
gonna go
fast.
get another beer. I'll do that.
Is that because of what we're talking about, or because you're thirsty?
No,
Yes.
my beer's
Okay,
empty.
I'm just checking.
And by the way, for anybody who doesn't know, if you haven't watched the Weekly Pint, I called in. I participated.
Well, Gilbert Gottfried called
Somebody
in.
did.
Well,
No, it was Morgan.
Charles Barkley.
Charles.
Charles
Yes,
Barkley
yeah.
and Gilbert Godfrey chimed in, participated, and I think I can take 2 minutes and be back.
Yes,
Yeah, I
yes,
respect that.
I would agree. What I will say on this, because I don't want you to get mad again. I don't want you to like.
I'm
make
already
it-
fired up.
Oh well, all right
Yeah.
then. What Marco and I were talking about before you got here was, I feel like a majority of the blame should be on And again, this is one of those, you can make the argument anyway. But I feel like the retailer should have a responsibility to make sure what's on the shelf
that's kinda how I feel.
Visually, this doesn't look right. Maybe we shouldn't put it on the shelves. Whether they got it that way from the distributor,
care who sells me the product or where it comes from.
Whether they got it from the distributor,
on my shelf.
Sure.
It's still there.
So let's go from brewery to retailer.
I'm fired up again. I can't do it. I'm fired up again.
Okay, then we won't talk about it.
No, it's fine. Talk about it.
Okay.
I'm just gonna.
If the brewery and like I said in the chat, this is the whole maybe. If this was one or two 6-packs, maybe somehow something could have been overlooked.
It's the case. It was a whole case. A dusty case. Very dusty. It was so dusty. It was disgusting.
So
I showed my wife the pictures and she said, "That's the most disgusting beer I've ever seen in my life."
That's bad.
And
right.
then I went downstairs
so
and I still had 2 beers from said brewery, which it's not the brewery's fault, so I'm not going to name them. I still had 2 beers from them from last year's 6-pack sitting on my coffee table.
Okay.
They were like,
so not in a cooler, just out,
just hanging out in the basement, like just sitting in the open air. And I grabbed one and I brought it upstairs and I thumped it on the table and I said, "This is what it's supposed to look like." And I flipped it over and the date is the exact same date as the beer that was on the shelf.
There.
At
Yeah.
said store.
Let's
said
just
store.
Say, so judging. So going by the date on the can, the visual that you described about the can. Let's pretend the brewery found it. Well, I'm going to go through each of the 3 steps: brewery, distributor, retailer.
Okay.
Let's say that the brewery found a misplaced case. No.
Nope.
We got a hypothetical.
Didn't happen.
If they saw if they saw that, they would not have given it to the distributor to give to anyone else. Right? Exactly. The distributor found it in their warehouse. They should have gone, this is disgusting. This just needs to go.
Yeah, it should have already been destroyed.
Right, let's pretend that somehow that did go from a distributor to the retailer. The retailer, should have gone, "Fuck this, we're not accepting this, not taking it." Or if they did, or let's just say it was at the retailer, like a warehouse storage, whatever. And again, I'm doing the air quote.
Yeah.
Pretend it got misplaced and wasn't intentionally given. The retailer should have then said, "This looks disgusting, we're not putting it on our shelves." Or if the poor person that might make minimum wage there, I don't know, gets it out of the warehouse and goes,
How many people touched this beer?
Exactly. Before it got on the shelves.
Picked it up.
Exactly.
And said, yes,
and said,
this needs to move to the next step.
Well,
and then somebody else picks it up.
Someone says, right.
Gross.
Right.
This needs to move to the next step.
So
and eventually there's a person that picks it up. Physically picks it up and says,
"Right,
yep, this goes here."
To me,
and they put it on a shelf, and that's messed up.
Whoever put that beer on the shelf, I feel, is ultimately responsible for it being somewhere it should not have been. They should have said, "This doesn't look right. I'm going to go to my supervisor, or whatever, and be like, hey, this is disgusting. Do you really want me to put this on the shelf?"
It shouldn't have been on the shelf.
It could have been.
And then from there, I was there on a Friday. It was busy. Like it's a Friday night. I know we're headed into a weekend where things are only going to get worse. I walked around for at least 10 minutes trying to find somebody to hey, why is this on the shelf? Like, why is this happening? And then I got angry. I'm mad that there's not somebody that can help me. There's not somebody in the beer department on a Friday night.
And there's not someone that cared enough to not put that on the fucking shelf.
And
you're right. No.
I say F it, man.
You're absolutely
not my fault.
Somebody should be there.
It should have been there in the first place.
Well, yes, but somebody should also be there and be accessible.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of part of what, when I used to go there, that somebody was accessible to help you navigate through that. And that person was also a person to be a stopgap for that kind of stuff. Yeah. And if that position has grown so large that they can't be around,
it hasn't grown. It's been wrapped into other positions.
So
it's eroded away. It's eroded away from one of its core fundamentals.
And if you're gonna run a beer department that is that big, as the
That
place
you're
we're
touting
talking
as,
about,
yes.
Jungle Gyms. If you're going to run a beer department that is that big, you've got a responsibility.
Sure.
You absolutely
But then-
do.
And if I'm going to call you out, I'm going to call you out. And it's not
Sure,
the brewery's
sure.
fault. It's not the
Well,
person that put it on
Look,
the
I mean,
shelf's fault.
Look, they don't
See, that
look,
I slightly
They
disagree
don't.
with.
They don't always know.
Well,
Sometimes
but
the
here's-
people that are
but-
putting beer on the shelf don't
Sometimes,
freaking
sure.
know.
But if it looks
fun.
like that,
it's like
it's
wine. It ages fine. Like they don't understand. They may not.
But I guess it
But
also.
it takes beer people, and honestly, Julie and I aren't paid by anybody. I mean, honestly,
Nobody pays you?
except
That's a problem.
for the Patreons, and yes, that can be a problem.
And maybe Bag of Dicks.
Maybe.
Dicks, contact
But-
troopyourpod at gmail.com because
Yeah.
they deserve your sponsorship.
Aw.
please contact us. But the
We'll
thing
slap
is
your
that,
dicks everywhere.
like, we have
I wonder if they have
anecdotal,
stickers.
like we have firsthand
Slap the
accounts of this same thing happening to us, myself and Julia personally.
Yeah.
Like this has happened is because you have an enormous craft beer selection, but you don't keep up with curating it
Yeah.
properly.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And look, I'm not trying to be
It's hard. We get it.
it's hard, and I'm not trying to, put you on blast or tell people to not go there, but I'm telling you that, this stuff matters to us, and if you think that beer out of date doesn't matter, then it does. I'm telling you it does, and it can vary by style. I don't know, where I picked up or left off because I walked away, but great Belgians and sours
Yeah.
and
Sure.
all that other
Sure.
stuff. I
You
mean,
can sit
the
around
way
for-
those
Even-
things change.
Even to some extent, Oktoberfest
Sure.
can age a little bit. Like
Sure.
it's
Yeah,
fine.
but
A
there
year is not.
but a year is not it, and so we have firsthand accounts of where we have looked at, picked up, or even bought beer that was way out of code.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And all I would ask is that if you want to be that kind of beer spot, the beer spot, then be
Right.
the beer spot
and it doesn't-
care
Be better.
about that
Be
kind
better.
of
Be better, yes.
be aware and care about expiration dates.
And
And
it doesn't matter who's stocking the shelves because I know there are some places where the distributors stock the shelves,
I think
and
that's-
there are some
That's,
places
think
where
that's
the
the case
retailers
at
that's the
do
Jungle
it.
blame that
But
I'm
that
hearing.
doesn't-
Is that should be what is our problem here.
But the people that run the beer departments should be aware of what's on their
And-
shelves and not just, I don't know, someone else put it
And
there.
that-
I'm sorry, that doesn't cut it.
At Jungle Gyms, and that's who we're talking about, at Jungle Gyms, there are always people in the beer department just walking around, facing
Sure.
6-packs and whatever.
As
They
you're
should
facing
see-
those cans, turn
They
them.
should see. You didn't have to pick it up. You don't have to look at the date.
Well,
it was covered in dust. It stands out when you walk in the aisle and you look at it. There's no
No.
excuse. There is no excuse unless you look at it and be like, hey, maybe this is a vintage beer. Is this something that people typically
Sure,
age?
right.
And in that case, it shouldn't be in the normal aisle. It should be in a
Yes.
special spot.
Yes.
This is, hey, we aged this for a year and let the dust gather, which maybe is a thing.
And I understand that sometimes, depending on things, sometimes things get overlooked.
I
No.
can't.
Let me.
I can't.
But
That's what gets
let
me mad.
Let me finish my statement on this
Okay.
though. Is sometimes things in the cycle of like rotating things in and out and like trying to pull cans from the back of the shelves to the front of the shelves to make sure that they sell whatever. If something is overlooked, when that is brought to your attention, you shouldn't get mad and pissed off that someone brought it to your attention.
Jungle Gyms didn't get mad.
You should say, well, in general, like the brewery, whoever, it should be hey, our bad. We didn't realize this. We've removed that from the shelf. We've done whatever. Like, because
The brewery felt that I was calling them out,
right,
on
which
social media.
I didn't get at all.
Which
I thought
seems
you were,
weird.
I thought you were.
Right?
It was more of
It
a.
seems
I'm,
weird.
Because
I'm
I-
letting you know.
Because you didn't buy it from them. You bought it from a retailer.
and I felt that I was pretty clear.
Yeah, I
I'm
thought
buying
so.
this from a spot.
Hey, FYI,
I'm
do you
sure
know what's
that it's a
out
mistake from the spot.
there? Yeah.
From the spot that I'm buying this from.
Yeah.
I
feel like the bottom line is if you are a beer retailer, I don't care who stocks your shelves, I don't care who you get your beer from, you need to be responsible for what
Yes.
is on your shelves and what that looks like, and making sure that someone could mistakenly, on
To go
purpose,
further,
whatever, give you a bad thing of beer.
If you make
Check
beer,
it.
you should be responsible for everybody that's putting that beer in their face.
Sure.
That should be your responsibility.
Sure.
That's part of the whole thing. Everybody's experience with your beer is a valid experience.
Sure.
Even if they got old
And
beer
maybe-
off of some crappy shelf, maybe it shouldn't have been on that shelf.
But that's also the trick.
I think that's a tough.
It's tough. It sucks. If you are going to let something get out of your control, you still have responsibility for what that is.
Sure.
And I
But-
don't have.
And I guess like a slight devil's advocate, if you have someone else that is storing your product for a certain period of time,
Yeah.
sits in a distributor's warehouse
You trust them.
for anywhere from a couple of days to maybe a couple weeks until it's able to be
Sure.
again, whatever that is. You would hopefully trust that, okay, they have this. We know that we do
It's
not have
still
any more
your
of this.
responsibility.
Sure, right, absolutely.
It's
But
an
then that's-
inherent responsibility. I don't want to say like it's an inherent responsibility on the distributor.
No, on everybody.
It is everyone. It is everyone.
And yes, I agree. From the supplier,
I'm responsible for my product that goes out into the world.
Okay.
It's me. That is supposed to be you.
You are the
if your
product.
name is on something, that's you. It's my fault as a brewery. My beer should not be there if I can't trust them.
yeah,
It shouldn't. No,
right.
it shouldn't be there. No. My product is me. Like every place that my product goes, I should be able to stand behind it because my name is on that. That's me.
Well,
I don't
we're not
disagree,
gonna,
but I feel
we're
like
not
it's
going to
not-
disagree with that.
Well, it sounds like you might be.
No,
No, I
you
just
can
I
eat
just
a bag
think,
of dicks. I
just
think you are.
no,
gladly.
yeah.
We'll just
okay.
I mean, there's a whole box of dicks
So
behind
many
you. I mean, there's
dicks.
so many
dicks
back
everywhere.
there.
You guys got me fired up again. I
sorry.
can't stop. Can't stop.
If
No,
I get
I
a
mean,
bag of
we
dicks
don't-
to shove in your mouth, will that help? Just
It would help.
No,
but I would still feel the same way.
we are not here to be anti what you're talking.
It feels like you are because I feel like I'm attacked right now, and I.
maybe we should wrap
I don't
this
see
up.
in any way how we attacked him.
He's just being hateful.
That's
I'm
good.
Very hateful.
Being hateful right now.
No,
Yeah.
if we amped him up that's fine. But we
So-
didn't.
so maybe-
we weren't anti whatever he was talking.
No.
You're anti-good beer. I think that's what I'm learning. You don't want good beer to exist.
Yes, that is exactly.
Yeah,
what,
welcome to
that is
Truth Beer and
exactly what-
Consequences,
Pod.
where
We hate good
actually,
beer.
actually, what we
a
want
good
to do
t-shirt.
is
That's
we
the title
just
of the episode.
want
We
to
hate
eat
good
a
beer.
bag of dicks, and
Oh, my goodness.
we hate everything. That,
You want good beer? Eat a bag of dicks.
Yeah, eat a bag of dicks. We hate everything. So no, but no, that's not what's happening.
I get it.
mean,
I know.
I feel like we need to
Just-
end this episode
just
with the
making a
same level
fun
of
show.
like anger that you ended
Yeah,
the
I
weekly
think-
pint with. Like that's kind of accumulation, and maybe just maybe
I'm feeling that right now.
Oh,
Just maybe next
Well,
week,
maybe
we'll
we-
talk about the price of flights.
yeah.
Maybe. At some
how
point
about
we'll
this?
talk about it.
Listen. Hello, no.
Fuck the Ravens. That's all we need to know. Hooday!
to Truth Beer and Consequences. This is Charles Barkley, and my golf swing has gotten a whole lot better.
From
And
watching all the golf on the show.
my golf swing has gotten a whole lot better than 10 years ago, and I want you guys to know that my golf swing was a whole lot better than Joe Biden golf swing, and I don't want to get
That's 'cause
into
I think he's dead.
But what I will say is that I think that what's going on
The cost of flights is too damn high.
what's going on with the cost of flights is so goddamn high.
How
I
much?
don't understand.
How much should a flight cost?
It depends on the beers that are in the
Well,
Does it?
Yeah.
The pint. How much should a pint cost?
Depends on what the pint is, or what the pour.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. We hit 300 episodes uploaded
And
on
congratulations.
Podbean.
Hey.
Thank you all. Yay!
and 10,000 downloads, which means Marco took a shit 10,000 times. So anyway, congratulations to you. You really good person, Julia, and you okay person, no. and I'm gonna
I respect that.
With that being said, how about the sip count for this episode?
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I counted the number of sips, the number of sniffs, and the number of burps.
Ooh.
Burp count.
Ooh,
has
good one.
made
Yes,
it back.
Good one.
go.
First time in like 5 years since Shift Beers last put out an episode.
It's the right way to do it.
The right way to do it. I was going to put an obscene word count in here, but I've been so
There was a
exhausted.
lot.
I've been so exhausted. I just didn't have the energy to
This was-
rewatch and count after.
This was the first episode of the Weekly
That
Pint
you- yes.
that I tagged explicit. First one.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm explicit.
Hey,
About damn time.
Thank you, everybody.
There were a total.
could have come out in a mankini.
I
No.
did.
Oh.
I did. Oh, you couldn't see
No,
from the
because
waist
it
down.
was exactly.
Yeah, I had a t-shirt
exactly.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were 7 sips. There were 4 burps, and there were 7 sniffs.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I'll
that's
take
a
that.
total of 18 countables. 36 ounces. What are you doing to our mic?
Smells like. Smells
Victory.
like. What does it smell like? It smells like
It probably smells like Wes. I
Victory.
think
no,
that's the.
nope. It smells like a
who is
department
using
store.
that
What is that store?
one. Kohl's.
No, Van
Macy's?
Lunen. Van Lunen's.
Oh, I miss.
Smells like Van
Lunen's.
Lunen's. There it is.
Oh my god.
Man.
No, don't let me just.
So 36.
Keep talking.
36 ounces.
The nose oils you were putting on that
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
2.25 pints.
The next time
during
you're
this
guest
episode.
on this show, know that my nose was on this. Like,
It wasn't
literally
on
on
it.
it.
It all depends on what color
The
mic
mic
they
is
get.
in my nose. Van Lunen's. Oh.
I'm gonna slowly lower the volume of that mic.
me off.
You have been cut off, sir.
Still smells good. Still smells as good as it did before.
Yeah.
Oh my god! If you guys like for whatever, I don't even know why. I don't. If you don't want us,
can't.
if you don't want us to ever do this kind of crap again, let us know. Add us on social media. Send us an email. Do whatever you want to do. Maybe like, subscribe, share, review. Do all the good stuff. Go to our website.
Julia is pretty good at her job. Thank you, Julia.
Thank you, Marco. I appreciate that.
No, Charles.
Go to our website, truthbeerpod.com, for links to absolutely everything, including how to become a Patreon subscriber, where you will get
Yeah.
access to all of the dick
All of
jokes
it.
that I cut out of the public-facing episodes.
Access to that.
All the ASMR you
I'll
don't
sniff ya.
want.
Yeah.
Good God.
And dick talk.
And listen to our sister podcast, Cincy Beer Events, where we cover all of the beer events happening in and around the greater Cincinnati area.
There's not
That
as
is
much
every
sniffing
Wed-
on that show.
No, there is definitely not as much.
don't
It
think-
is a
is there
more
any
professional
sniffing?
effort. No.
Yeah.
Well, no, unintentional
Gotta
sometimes.
fix that.
Yes. But yeah, other than that, Marco, Gnome, Charles Barkley, whoever the hell is here, what are you guys going to be doing next Tuesday?
Let's go. Let's do this again.
Jesus, I
Bring it
hope, I
back
hope
around.
not.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It smells so good. Van Lunen's.